Before there was time, before there was anything, there was nothing. And before there was nothing, there were monsters.
Welcome to surviving 100 days inside hardcore better Minecraft. Y'all, this mod pack is absolutely insane. It's like if you took Minecraft and just injected a bunch of steroids into it. It's crazy. There are hundreds of new mods added to the game, and so we get a bunch of new items, blocks, mobs, and even new bosses. Scary looking things like the Hydra, the Black Stone Golem, and the Alpha Yeti. Our goal throughout these 100 days is not only to survive, but to take down all of these bosses, including the boss of all bosses, the Dragon of the End. One more thing before we get into it, guys. I want to throw 3 huge shout outs out there for 3 very important people. Number 1 being Sharky, the creator of the Better Minecraft mod pack. Number 2 being Swave, the first YouTuber I saw do 100 hardcore days in Better Minecraft. And number 3, of course, Big Papa himself, Luke the Notable. This entire genre, this entire branch of Minecraft content would not exist without him. So big ups, big thanks to all 3 of those guys. But enough talk, let's go ahead and get into it. 100 days of hardcore in the Better Minecraft mod pack, part 1, the Omen War. So, day 1, I spawned in and wow, man, this mod is freaking beautiful. But anyway, I spawned in, I punched down some trees, of course, and made myself a very basic set of tools and set out to explore the area that was around me. And during this exploration, I came upon a very strange looking tower. Whoa! What is that? So yeah, you know, my interest was intrigued. So after laying waste to a couple members of the local wildlife, I decided that, you know, I'm just gonna get a little bit closer. I might, you know, check it out, see if there's any loot in there waiting for the boy. You know, maybe reduce the time I have to spend in the mines. And so yeah, I ran up on the building, and I made my way inside. You know, and after a couple tries, because I'm an absolute idiot and I have no idea when ladders got so hard to navigate in this game, but I fell off like 3 times. But after all of that, I managed to make my way to the first level, and there wasn't a whole lot of loot. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna say it was bussin'. It was really just like a bed, some bookshelves. I think I stole a flower or something like that, but not the loot that we had really hoped for. But it's super early on in the game. I ain't too worried, and I'll take what I can get. I would have gone up a little bit higher to the next floor, but I heard some zombies up there, and the boy is not well equipped. I cannot handle that type of fight right now, so I just marked my mini-map, made a little waypoint, and said I'll come back later when I have some more armor and some better weapons. Yeah, nah, that's a little much. A little much off rip. So onwards I went, going on and seeing what else I could find in this beautiful mod pack on day 1, and I stumbled upon a village, man. And the thing about this village is that they were absolutely poor. There was no loot, there was nothing good, not even a blacksmith in this village. I was very upset, contemplated burning it all down, decided that was a bad idea, and decided instead to make it my home. At least for the time being. But there was one amazing thing that I did discover in this village, and it was this absolute unit with an amazing name. But it was a golem, and that golem, man, I love that guy.
What a powerful name you have on you, man. All right, General War Domination Drone. Gonna take my ass to bed. Oh, hey, man, I'm cool. I'm chilling, man. I'll sleep out here. I don't even take a house. I'll sleep in the open.
Day 2. Hey, it's day 2. We're officially farther than I expected to get, so I'm pretty happy about that. But I started day 2 by just kind of like rummaging around the village and making sure there's nothing that I missed in terms of loot, but there really wasn't much to speak of.
This is a pretty well-developed village. Y'all are just super poor, man. A bunch of broke bitches.
I did see this pretty cool looking outpost thing on the edge of the village, so I did explore that. And I found some food, a lot of food actually, which was something I was pretty happy to see because it means I didn't have to kill any more cows. For now. After raiding the tower, I knew that my time in this little village, at least for the moment, had come to an end. It was time for me to forge a little bit deeper into this huge modded world. I ran pretty far out and I ended up forgetting my bed, so I had to run all the way back, so that pretty much took up the rest of day 2. But day 3, yes sir, man, the boy was on the move and I was very, very excited. I did need to make a backpack though, so unfortunately that meant I had to put a couple more cows on a t-shirt, but the backpack was super useful and I was very, very happy to have it. I also saw these incredible red oaks with these beautiful leaves, and so I grabbed myself a sapling or two because I knew I'd really want to have these trees around my base a little bit later in the playthrough. Yeah, so I grabbed that and then I fashioned myself a little boat and decided to hit the high seas and sail north, as all great adventurers do. And when I was trying to avoid some sharks, I saw this strange thing on my mini-map, and it turned out to be like a little ship, and it had some people on it, bro, and they looked pretty friendly, so I hopped on board, man. And I mean, just look at these guys, bro. Look at these guys out in the ocean doing their thing, man. They didn't have a lot of loot, I'm not gonna lie to you. Once again, I've been just not very lucky, but they did have some iron, and that was absolutely clutch because I had come upon like no iron thus far. So I went ahead and was like, appreciate y'all, took the iron and made myself a little chest plate with it because I had better use of it than they did, and I'm sure they didn't mind. I also helped myself to some new iron tools, but you know, you can't blame me for that. This is a very harsh world we live in, and you know, I'm gonna take every advantage that I can. And so, you know, they had some iron, I needed some tools, bada bing, bada boom, we made that happen.
Good deal.
And the one villager on the outside of the ship had an amazing trade, man. It was like 10 coal gets you an emerald. So I was like, oh, for sure. I marked it on my mini map, and when I got some coal, once I went mining, I was like, we're gonna come back here, definitely gonna get mad emeralds from this guy, man. One more thing that I forgot to mention is that I found this absolutely godly fishing rod inside one of those chests. And so being that there wasn't that much light left in the day and that I was in such high spirits from finding an amazing emerald trade, I decided to spend the evening just fishing and hanging out with my new friends.
I'm enjoying this quality shot, guys. This is nice.
I like these guys so much that I even ignored the weird noises that started happening when I set my bed down.
Y'all better not be doing no weird stuff behind me.
But come day 4, I said my goodbyes and headed on my way.
Alright, y'all boys. I'll be seeing you. Ooh, especially, yeah. I'll be back for that emerald trade. That's fantastic.
As I neared the shore of the second half of the continent, I noticed another ship, but this one had a black flag and a spawner on it, so I was a little bit more apprehensive when I came up to it. So I quickly just grabbed the loot from both chests and came upon my first pieces of enchanted gear, which was a much needed upgrade from what I had on.
Get out of here before anything spawns.
So after nearly a whole day on the open sea, I finally made landfall, and the rest of day 4 was really just me mucking about and taking in all the beauty of this amazing mod pack. Man, I really almost never seen anything like it. The biomes, the atmosphere, everything is just so captivating. So yeah, just spent the rest of day 4 just working my way inland and seeing what I could find. And sure enough, on day 5, the first thing that I come across is a new type of structure. Some type of village, home, townhouse type thing. It looks pretty cool.
Crazy to have 3 chests full of the same thing, man.
And after going through these villagers' private things, I stumbled upon the first piece of, I believe, really valuable loot, which was a Pt.1 enchanted book. With Pt.1, even though I didn't have any diamond armor, I'd be able to tank a lot more hits from mobs and whatever else was trying to kill me, so definitely a win in my book. But just as I was going to leave this little villager home, I noticed something on my mini-map that would change the course of this entire playthrough. Just a couple hundred blocks beneath me was an absolutely gigantic pillager mansion. And for my minimap alone, I could tell there were at least 40 to 50 different pillagers in that mansion. Evokers, Vindicators, Illusioners, all types of things that if I came in contact with them would mean instant death. But at the same time, I had a duty and a responsibility to my home village to make sure that they were safe. So I decided right then and there that when I was strong enough, I would come back down and burn the mansion off the map. I would completely eradicate all the pillagers on this continent. This was the beginning of what would become the Omen War. After starting day 6 by nearly freezing to death, which happens way too often in this mod pack, I set out towards an interesting looking structure a little bit further up the continent. I was more determined than ever before to find some really good loot, because the faster I got good gear, the faster I could go and take on that pillager mansion. So, in my excitement, the boy was admittedly moving a little bit reckless, a little bit dangerously. So, when I came upon this house, I really thought it'd just have another little friendly villager inside, but boy was I wrong.
Oh, it's an illusioner. Oh no. Oh god.
Being that I had never actually fought an illusioner, I had no idea it could blind you or what else it could do, so I just threw up some blocks and jumped off the nearest cliff, hoping to save my life. Luckily, it didn't follow me off that cliff, but I took this as a very real reminder that A, I really needed to make a shield, and B, I had to get a lot more gear before I had any hopes of taking on something like that mansion. If I couldn't even handle one illusioner, what would I do against 50? See, they caught me slipping, but I vowed they would never catch the boy slipping again. At the end of day 6, I found myself taking refuge in yet another village, but I did find some really cool stuff like this iron helmet, which I really needed, and decided I would explore a little bit more in the morning. Come day 7, I started looking around and kept finding these little pygmy villagers everywhere, but I realized they were just children.
Wait, why are you all so small?
I also found the village waystone, which was pretty nice. This now means that I could come back here whenever I wanted to. But I doubt that I would, because as I continued to look around the village, I really once again found they didn't have much, to the point where my frustration kind of boiled over and I kind of took it out on this one villager dad.
Get your bread up, why don't you? You providing for these? You providing for them folk? They don't got no money. Ain't nothing there but cabbage seeds, fam. Stop playing with the door. You know what? Give me the damn door. Give me the damn door. Hey. Look at me. You should be ashamed of yourself.
With that, I finally decided to bite the bullet and just go mining. I really need to get some more iron armor, and I wasn't gonna keep walking around and looking for it when I could just go down and mine it. So I took myself my little stone sword and went and started battling all the mobs of the deep, because nothing was gonna get in between me and this iron armor. Alright, well, my recording crashed for the second half of day 7, but here we are on day 8 at a whole new village, man. I did manage to get enough iron to be able to make myself an iron sword and a new pair of leggings, so that was pretty great. But yeah, mostly, man, day 8, we just kind of walked around the village, saw what some of the trades were on the villagers, and I did manage to find some obsidian, which was very, very nice because of my nether portal aspirations.
Obsidian.
But as I walked through this village, I thought about something else. I thought about how many different villages and structures we had found on our travels so far, and how they were so close, all of them, to that pillager mansion. How none of them knew how dangerous it was just a couple hundred blocks from them, where there was a force that could eradicate all of them if it so chose. As I thought about this, it reinforced my decision that as soon as I got back to my village, I would prepare to go to war. All right, I woke up on day 9 and a man had a goal. A man had a goal for the day before I left this village, and that goal was to grab an enchanted sword from that one guy yesterday who I saw with the weapons. But to do that, I would need some emeralds, but I was very, very lucky because one of the guys, I believe he was a butcher, had a deal where if you gave him like 7 rope, he'd give you an emerald. I thought that was an amazing deal, so I just thought about how would I get my hands on some rope. And the answer was robbing folk. I literally started going around and ransacking people's houses for their rope. I feel like these first 9 days, I've just been going from village to village and just absolutely running their pockets, man. Just robbing everybody. But, you know, it's for a good cause. It's for the greater good. Anyway, when I had finally thieved enough rope, I went and I found the butcher and made that trade to get some emeralds. And then after that, I went and found a weaponsmith and finally got my hands on my first enchanted weapon. It was just an enchanted iron sword with knockback. But honestly, if I can put some distance in between me and whatever is trying to kill me, I'm not going to complain. That's a pretty great enchantment to have. Having achieved my ultimate goal for the day and knowing that my time in the village would soon come to an end, I did a little searching around and just kind of explored the trades that some of these villagers had. I was especially interested in one mod pack that I kept seeing pop up, which I believe is called like Farmer's Delight or Chef's Delight or something like that. But it had a bunch of items that would either heal you or give you increased saturation, and I realized that some of these items would be just as valuable to have as like golden or god apples. So I made a note that when I got back to my home village, I would start trying to maybe make some of these things for myself. Day 10, after giving the village the old Irish goodbye, I decided to head down to the lake and start making my way back home to my village. It had been a while, I had a lot to unpack, and I needed to get home. But on the way down there, I saw this absolutely amazing thing on my minimap, which turned out to be an all-black pig, man. This thing looked so amazing. I kind of wanted to figure out how to take him home with me, decided that would be way too much work, and just said my goodbye to him as well. But that made me very, very sad. It's a pirate's life for me. I was back on the high seas. The voyage home was pretty long, but also fairly uneventful. I did stop by that pirate ship that I passed on my way here in the first place, just to take out that spawner and see if there's any more loot. There really wasn't, but the ship was pretty cool and I was happy to have come by it at all.
Pretty dope.
And then moving on, I of course stopped and waved my good old fisherman friends a hello. I wasn't ready to trade with that villager just yet, but just wanted to show them that I still care.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? I don't got time to stop right now, but I'll be back.
Finally, after making my way up the Ruby Canal, which I've just now named the Ruby Canal because of the sheer amount of red oaks on the shore, I made it back. After nearly 10 straight days of exploration, we were finally back at the home village.
What's going on, guys? What's poppin'?
The sail back had taken nearly the entire day, so there really wasn't much left for me to do except unload my inventory and hunker down for the night. Day 11, I honestly didn't do very much, but even though I didn't get a lot done, it was a very special day. You see, I spent a lot of time fishing and just kind of reflecting on my situation, and I had never really expected to make it to 10 days, and so now that I'm on my 11th, a lot of new plans and plots started forming in my head. I realized that I probably had enough gear to go and take on that creepy tower that I had seen before. If that tower happened to have a diamond, with the obsidian that I got from my travels, I'd finally be able to make an enchanting table. And, as if a sign from above, I caught a wooden crate that had enough iron in it to let me make a full set of iron armor. From fishing, man. Crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Now, feeling more than well equipped, I knew that tomorrow, day 12, would be the day that I went and rushed the tower. Day 12, I woke up and nearly shit myself because look at this man, bro. Look at this beast just walking about, man. I was terrified.
No.
And these villager warriors, man, useless. They did not care about this guy whatsoever. So I had no idea if this man was like crazy strong. It could like one-shot me even in full armor, and I didn't want to find out. So I just used a little bit of 10,000 IQ and I got the general in between the two of us, and then, you know, that boy took him out in like 2 hits, man. General War Domination Drone is not to be played with.
My guy.
Turns out this thing was an orc and we got its skin when we killed it. And I don't really know what this is useful for, but it's good to have it. A part of me did wonder though, because up until this point, this village had never been attacked like that. And so I wondered if the pillagers sent this orc as an attack on our village. Regardless, I had things to do today, so I upgraded my leather backpack to an iron backpack, which gave me an extra row of space, and I began to make my way towards that big creepy tower. Now, when I saw a lot of Minecrafters who were a lot better at this game try to clear towers, they typically didn't go through the way the tower wanted them to, but more dug around the side and kind of poked their heads in stealing loot. So I decided to go with that method. I spent the rest of day 12 and half of day 13 just mining and exploring this little tower, which turned out to be a lighthouse. But unfortunately, there really wasn't any loot in here, especially no diamonds, so this whole thing pretty much ended up being a giant waste of time. Before I left though, I did grab some of this green stuff from up top because I thought it looked pretty cool and thought I might use it in my base a little bit further down the line. But geez Louise, man, it was day 13 and I still didn't have a diamond. I had had enough, so I came down from that tower and immediately jumped into the biggest cave I could find. I did not care anymore. I don't like caving. It's poor content and it's dark and it's hella mobs, but I literally don't care. I wanted a diamond. I needed more iron for an anvil, so I committed to just going down and not coming back up until I had everything that I needed. So that's what I did days 13 through 15, man. Just some good old-fashioned spelunking. I ran into a lot of mobs, but I also ran into a lot of really cool new ores and blocks, such as this really cool deep red looking one called rhyolite. I thought it looked absolutely amazing, and I made sure to grab enough of that to also use in my base. And you know, we got a little bit of everything. We got some gold, we got some lapis, redstone, more iron, and I was even almost killed by a group of miner zombies. I also found out later that I was very, very close to walking into a cave that had one of these things in it, so very glad we missed that. But despite all of that, and despite 3 days of mining, and despite many near-death experiences, you know what I didn't find any of? Diamonds. So on day 16, I tunneled my way back up to the surface because I had had enough. I was tired of mining, I was tired of caving, and I said to myself, you know what? There are other ways to get enchants without an enchanting table. Day 17, I began my preparations for my new plan. See, the whole reason I wanted a diamond was so that I could craft an enchanting table. And the whole reason I wanted an enchanting table is so that I could buff up the armor I already had and become strong enough to take on our enemies to the south. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a diamond, but I did find more than enough iron to make an anvil. And with an anvil, I could start transferring over the enchantments from books onto my armor pieces. So I'd achieve the same result even without having a diamond. The key to all this working was making this absolutely overpowered fishing rod. And you might be asking, how is this going to help you? Well, you can actually catch enchanted books, and with this super fishing rod, I can catch a lot of enchanted books. And then, with the experience I get from fishing, I can then utilize those books using the anvil. So it all comes together. Those two. So that's what the boy did, days 17 through 20. I just fished from sun up to sundown. But I mean, I got some absolutely amazing stuff. I discovered a golden crate which actually had 10 enchanted apples in it, which is ridiculous. Man, this game is broken. And then I also happened upon a bunch of other enchanted books. I think I got like a looting 3 book, a protection 3 book, another prot 1 book. And then with all these things that I caught, I went ahead and went to the anvil and threw them on top of my armor pieces. So I was able to make a protection 1 iron chestplate and a protection 1 set of leggings, even though for some reason they disappeared because this game sucks, and so I actually lost those leggings. But you know, still got some protection and actually made a power 4 bow as well. And man, let me tell you, I was excited about this bow because up close I only had iron armor and an iron sword, so I really wasn't packing a whole lot of heat with my close range weaponry. But now that I had a very powerful long range weapon, it would mean that against people who could like one-shot me, I have some room, I have some distance, and I just felt a lot safer and a lot more comfortable with such a powerful weapon. I also noticed that for some reason out of nowhere, I was seeing a bunch of baby golems, so I had to go chat to my boy General War Domination Drone.
Concealatron apparatus. Hey, man. General, man, you been fucking? You been out here fucking, General? I can respect it. I got you, man. I get, hey, do your thing, man. Do your thing.
I also may or may not have renamed one of his children, but me and the general are tight, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Now, days 21 through 30 are where things start getting a little rambunctious, because now that I had better gear and now that I had enchants, I was ready to make my way back down to the south. After that orc they sent to our village, I was sure, more sure than I had ever been, that we had to get rid of those pillagers. Starting with that freaking illusioner who almost killed me a couple of days ago. So day 21, I hopped in my boat and headed back down south, having no idea that the things I would do and the actions I would take would have untold consequences of death, destruction, and devastation. And on day 22, I found these wolves. Man, look at these guys. Look at these cute little things, man. I found these things in the forest. I had intended to take my boat all the way down, but I actually got landlocked, so I had to go through the forest, and I came upon like 5 wolves. And even though I couldn't take 5 wolves back with me, I did decide that I was going to keep a couple of them.
Let's see if I can get all 3 of them. All right, our boys.
I actually also didn't even name them, so, you know, any name suggestions, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. I still need 2 names. Don't ask why I said 2 when there were clearly 3 of them. Just know I need 2, and only 2 names. But after I got my dogs all settled out, we continued on until we exited the forest, and after a couple more blocks, I knew the time had arrived. There was his house, and my enemy stood right below me. I attempted to maintain an aerial advantage, but he blinded me from way farther away than I thought he could, forcing me to pop the milk. And just when I was about to jump down and have my way with this man, my dog jumped off the cliff for no reason and was immediately killed by the illusioner. Now I was angry as hell, so I just jumped down and started to put the paws on this man. But then he split into 3, which scared me, and I tried to maintain distance, but before I could even really get into anything, my wolves went ahead and finished him off before anything bad could happen. Victorious, I slept outside this man's house as a show of disrespect. In this Omen war, it was the pillagers who received the first major casualty. Day 23, I woke up and basically just ransacked this man's house, just looking for anything of value. And while I didn't really find any good loot, I did find some type of weird pleasure dungeon that he had underneath his house, which was really creepy. And he had this guy in here who I can't even imagine what this man's been through. So I decided that I should probably let him go. You know, no need to have any POWs in here if we don't need to.
Out you go. Out you go.
Having completed my first objective of killing the illusioner and doing it rather easily, I knew that I was ready to move on to my second objective, taking on the witch den. I knew taking on a mansion full of witches wouldn't be as easy as taking on this illusioner, so I decided to scout out the area before just rushing in. It's a good thing I did, because this place was just as well fortified and dangerous as I thought it might be. It looked to be about 4 floors and in between 20 to 25 witches in there, and I couldn't see the spawners from the outside. All in all, it was looking pretty grim. But as I must remind you all, I am not your typical Minecraft player. I don't go with the whole strategies of hardcore PvP, jump, notch apple, none of that. I'm a conniving little sneaky man. And so when I saw a lava moat very, very close to this mansion made entirely of wood, a new idea came to mind. Yeah, perhaps you all forgot, but this is a war, and there's no Geneva Convention in Minecraft, so we do what we gotta do. This would have been a perfect plan, except I didn't account for 2 things. 1, if witches take over 3 seconds of fire damage, they pop a fire resistance potion. And 2, if witches take enough damage, they pop a potion of instant health, thus recovering that damage.
Oh, run.
This was gonna take a little bit longer than I thought. So days 24 through 25 was me just carefully building up, around, and through the now destroyed witch mansion, grabbing all the loot and taking care of any of the straggling witches. The loot was actually pretty solid too. I got a lot of enchanted books, some more iron, some emeralds, and even this cool looking witch hat, which made it so that witches didn't aggro on me, which was very useful. By the end of day 25, the place was completely destroyed and I had stripped it bare. And being that I'd taken everything of value from them, I decided to be merciful and let the witches live. Day 26, after grabbing everything that I could, I decided it was time to head back home. My wolves were almost dead, I needed to unload all this stuff, and I wanted to prepare myself a little bit more for taking on that way bigger pillager mansion. We had made great strides down south. We took out that illusioner and we took out this witch den. Both, I'm sure, were absolutely valuable assets to the pillagers. Plus, I didn't just leave this conflict with loot, I had to learn something. I stole one of their brewing stands and I intended to make potions for myself. With a couple potions of fire resistance, strength, regeneration, and swiftness, I was sure I could get through that mansion, destroy all the spawners, take the majority of the loot with only having to kill a couple people. It was a win-win scenario. And then, with the pillagers finally defeated and the Omen War won, I could finally refocus my efforts onto finding these mini-bosses and laying waste to them as well. I thought about this on my way home, which went pretty uneventful besides trying to get these dogs into a boat, and then that time where I was randomly attacked by a whole big behind grizzly bear, which almost killed me, but we managed to defeat it, and I even let its son live against my better judgment, because I am a merciful and magnanimous man. Day 27, after a nearly 6-day military campaign, I finally arrived back home. After I dumped all my loot, got my wolves back up to full health, I decided I need to build a little base, better than the shack I'd been staying in. So, on day 28, I started marking out the ground for a little bit of a tower at the top of the town. After some internal deliberation, I decided that a tower would be better than something like a whole castle because of my more nomadic lifestyle. I didn't need a whole huge build, I just needed somewhere to brew potions and keep all my stuff basically. Eventually I'd want the whole thing to be built out of rhyolite and blackstone, but I didn't have an excess of either of those things right now, so I made my way over to the adjoining island and got some birchwood. And that's really how I spent the rest of day 28, and actually night 28. I was just building up this tower, measuring out the dimensions with hardly any trouble at all. The real annoying part came on day 29 when this wandering trader just wouldn't leave the build area and it was getting super frustrating. Luckily, I am a man of persuasion and diplomacy, so after asking him very nicely, he agreed to leave. Day 30, I actually ran into another one of these little bastards, but this one was a lot smaller, so I didn't mind taking it on myself. But it stole my pickaxe, bro, and tried to flee with it.
Boy, man, finessed my pickaxe, bro. Gotta run with it. Crazy, 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 crazy. You ain't gonna steal from the boy. What we doing?
The rest of day 30 was shaping up to be just another day of building, but I saw something interesting on my minimap. There was a witch, and it was rather close to the village. Now, I don't know about you all, but I had had more than my fair share of witches, enough for 1,000 days, so I said I was gonna go take it out real quick. But what I found was far more frightening than a witch, and the consequences would be disastrous. What I found wasn't a witch, but a pillager outpost. Just a few blocks away from my home, there was an entire military base. I was confused. I had been up here 1,000 times and I had never seen this outpost. And a part of me believed that this had to do with retaliation for what I did down south, for the illusion and the burning of the witch den. Perhaps they suspected that my next target would be the mansion itself, and had chosen to remove me before I could remove them. For the moment I set all that aside and tried to figure out how I could take down this outpost easy. And I noticed they had a golem trapped. If I could free that golem and have him fight on my side, we could probably eradicate this outpost in no time. Well, my plan did not work. The golem wouldn't leave the cage, and so I was chased down the mountain by a squadron of pillagers. Luckily, the village warriors and Pt.1 weren't too far, and they helped me take him down. Day 31, I was back at it, and I was determined to get rid of this outpost by any means necessary. So now, armed with the proper gear, I cut a bloody path back to the golem and tried really hard to free him, but knowing that if he just joined the battle, this would be easy. But I was almost overwhelmed by their numbers again.
Ooh, there's 3 of them.
Finally, the golem decided to join the battle, and with his help, we easily were able to push them back.
Yes! Yes, golem! No! No, they'll kill him! Oh, I didn't mean to hurt you. My bad.
I pushed up to the tower, but there was really no loot worth mentioning, but I also couldn't find a spawner. And I tried placing torches to stop them from spawning, but it didn't work, and it was just me and the golem fighting pillagers en masse. And in the heat of battle, I killed a bannerman, a mistake that I would soon come to regret. The pillagers were endless and my shield broke in battle, so I ran back down to the village to make myself a new shield, and that's when I heard the horns. I knew a raid was coming, but I didn't know what that would mean for my people. I slept from day 31 to day 32 because I realized the only thing worse than a raid would be a raid at night having to deal with mobs as well, and I quickly learned the next morning how powerful these pillagers were. I died. If it wasn't for that charm, I would 100% be dead. And because of that, true fear found its way into my heart. And then it got worse.
No, this is not good.
A thunderstorm. So now, in addition to the waves of pillagers coming into our village, we now had to fight off skeletons, zombies, creepers, and anything else that could spawn underneath the cloak of darkness. The village valiantly repelled wave after wave, but even so, it was looking grim. My armor had worn down, but most of the village warriors had already died, and the golems were starting to crack. Because they were our heaviest hitters, I changed my role to one of support, continuously going around and feeding them iron, getting them back up to full health, but it just wasn't enough. None of it was proving to be enough. The rain kept falling, the pillagers kept swarming in, and our forces kept dwindling, and before I knew it, I saw my life flash before my eyes. What had I done? And that concludes 100 Days of Better Minecraft Hardcore, Part 1, The Omen War. I can already see the comments, no, what the hell? Yes, it's a cliffhanger, but hey, if you all give this video 30,000 likes, I'll go ahead and upload the next part. I really hope you all enjoyed Part 1 as much as I enjoyed making it. This is an absolute pleasure to be able to make something that you all want to see, and remember that liking, subscribing, and sharing this video takes very little time, but means the world to me. And one more huge shout out to the developers of this mod pack. This is an absolute beauty to play and I'm really enjoying it, so thank you all for all the hard work you all did. Also, feel free to go ahead and follow me on all my other platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch, all at YoungBalerion. Love you all, thank you all so much, and I'll see you next time. Peace.